Hello, everyone. Welcome to our basement bar and the first presentation of the Pericles Project.
Woo! Baby's first broadcast.
We're going to be presenting a total of 16 episodes, 2 at a time, every 2 weeks. That's 16, 2 and 2. 2 episodes every 2 weeks. My name is Tom Reed. This is ML Cogar, and along with our partners Susan Scott Fry and Ron Scott Fry, we are the founders of Milwaukee's Free Shakespeare in the Park. Thanks for tuning in.
And whether we are wearing our live theater Milwaukee Free Shakespeare in the Park pants or our brand new No Holds Barred video pants, one thing has always been really important to us, and that is interaction and diversity of perspective and people. So we try to reflect that, of course, in our casting and in our crew, but we also want to interact with you and hear your diverse perspectives and your diverse voices. We have a couple of ways, one possibly just more of an action than an interaction. That is, if you would like to visit our webpage to find tonight's signature cocktails, there are actually 2 and offered in alcoholic and non-alcoholic forms.
Yep. So you can visit noholdsbarred.org/about, and that will take you right to our Bardy page. It really is called Bardy page, and the recipes.
Well, Bardy page, but it's in the inflection. The other way you can interact with us, the real interaction, is of course the chat, and we welcome you. Actually, we invite you to please chat with one another, chat with us, send questions, and at the very end of the broadcast, so after both episodes, we will get some questions forwarded to us by our very kind moderator, and we'll answer a few. We're going to keep it short. We're going to respect your time.
And just so you know, many of the cast members are also joining us tonight live watching the broadcast.
Yes, indeed.
So, Pericles the play.
Not one of the most produced of Shakespeare's plays, and not one that audiences really clamor for. Unlike Romeo and Juliet, which we had expected to do live at the beautiful Peck Pavilion this past summer. But during Shakespeare's day, and then shortly after his death, it was actually one of his most popular plays. Why? Maybe you'll find out. So, what to watch for in our first episode? 2 things. First of all...
Number 2, it's a popular number.
It is. It's all over the place here. So first of all, please, when we open up, you will see Laurel Sulphate of Laurel Sulphate and her Ladies of Leisure. We are big fans of her music.
Yeah, check out her music on YouTube. Laurel Sulphate and her Ladies of Leisure. It's awesome.
It really is. We're big fans. And Laurel did our very first Gower interpretation for us. So Gower is the narrator in this play. Sometimes Gower tells us what's going to happen. Sometimes Gower tells us what happened. But because he's a narrator character and a poet who stands separate from the play, we decided that was the perfect opportunity to involve a variety of artists and a variety of arts. So the very first thing you'll hear is Laurel's fantastic rendition of the very first Gower monologue to set up episode 1.
Yep, and throughout this broadcast, you will see different people playing the role of Gower.
So it's exciting. We can't wait. And another thing to watch out for, it is called Pericles. Our Pericles, the wonderful Ethan Miles Perry, or EMP as we started calling him, was not to mix up our Shakespeare, but he was our touchstone through this whole thing. We really had a lot of upheaval, and Ethan was just that stable force that we got to keep all the way through, and we really couldn't have chosen anyone better to take this full ride with. So in our very first episode, Pericles' father has just died, and young Pericles is in line for the throne. He's not a sure thing, but he's trying to make his very first move by going off to Antioch to find himself a wife.
A wife of royal blood.
That's right, to possibly be queen consort of Tyre. Let's see what happens when he gets to Antioch and meets the daughter of Antiochus. He's got to solve a riddle in order to be qualified for her hand. Let's see what happens. Roll it, Nick.
To sing a song that old was sung from ashes, ancient hours come, assuming man's infirmities, to glad your ear and please your eyes. It hath been sung at festivals, on amber eves and holy air. If you born in these latter times, when it's more right, accept my rhymes, and that to hear an old man sing, made to your wishes pleasure bring. I life would wish that I might waste it for you like take life. This is Antioch, Antiochus the Great, built up this city for his chiefest seat. This is Antioch, Antiochus the Great. I tell you what mine authors say, the fairest in Assyria. This king unto him took a peer, who died and left a female heir, so buxom, blithe and full of face, as heaven lent her all his grace, with whom the father liking took, and her to incest did provoke. Bad child, worse father, to entice his own to evil should be done by none. The beauty of this sinful dame made many princes thither frame, to seek her as a bedfellow, in marriage pleasures playfellow, which to prevent he made a law to keep her still, and men in all, that whoso asked her for his wife, his riddle told not, lost his life. Here comes Pericles, Pericles the bold, undeterred by death with such a soul. Oh, what now ensues to the judgment of your eye? I give my cause, who best can justify, the fairest in all Syria.
Young Prince of Tyre, you have at last received the danger of the task you undertake.
I have, Antiochus, and with a soul emboldened with the glory of her praise, think death no hazard in this enterprise. See where she comes, herald like spring, graces her subjects. Thoughts, the king of every virtue, give renown to man.
Prince Pericles.
That would be son to great Antiochus.
Yes. Before thee stands this fair Hesperides, with golden fruit, but dangerous to be touched. Yon sometimes famous princes like thyself, drawn by report, adventurous by desire, tell thee with speechless tongues and semblance pale, that here stand martyrs, slain in Cupid's wars, and with dead cheeks advise thee to desist for going on death's net, whom none resist.
Antiochus, I thank thee, who hath taught my frail mortality to know its song, thus ready for the way of life. or death. I await the sharpest blow.
Scorning advice, read the conclusion then, which read and not expounded, 'tis decreed, as these before thee, thou thyself shalt bleed.
Of all said yet, mayst thou be prosperous. Of all said yet, I wish thee happiness.
Like a bold champion, I assume the list, nor ask advice of any other thought but faithfulness and courage.
I am no viper, yet I feed on mother's flesh which did me breed. I sought a husband in which labor. I found that kindness in a father. He's father, son, and husband mild. I, mother, wife, and yet his child. How they may be, and yet in two, as you will live, resolve it you.
Sharp physic is the last, if this be true. Fair glass of light, I loved you, and could still, were not this glorious casket stored with ill. But I must tell you now my thoughts revolt, for he's no man on whom perfections wait, that, knowing sin within, will touch the gate.
Prince Pericles, your time has now expired. Either expound now or receive your sentence.
Great king, few love to hear the sins they love to act. 'Twould braid yourself too near for me to tell it. Who has a book of all that monarchs do? He's more secure to keep it shut than shown. It is enough, you know, it is fit. What being more known grows worse to smother it.
Heaven that I had thy head, he has found the meaning. But I will gloze with him. Young Prince of Tyre, though by tenor of our strict edict we might proceed to cancel of your days, yet your fair self doth tune us otherwise. 40 days longer we do respite you. If by which time our secret be undone, this mercy shows we'll joy in such a son. And until then your entertain shall be as doth befit our honor and your worth.
Our courtesy would seem to cover sin. Antioch, farewell. For wisdom sees those men blush not, and actions blacker than the night will shun no course to keep them from the light. One sin I know another doth provoke. Murder's as near to lust as flame to smoke. Then, lest my life be cropped to keep you clear, by flight I'll shun the danger which I fear.
He has found the meaning for which we mean to have his head. He must not live to trumpet forth my infamy, nor tell the world Antiochus doth sin in such a loathed manner. And therefore instantly this prince must die, for by his fall my honor must keep high.
Hello,
Hey.
everybody. Welcome back.
Wow, that was like lightning.
So, Pericles went to Antioch to find a wife, but ends up really finding trouble.
Right. He realizes basically that by solving the riddle, his life is now in danger, and our bold hero has to run. It's his only choice.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's move on to episode 2, and we're going to take a look at what happens when Pericles comes home to Tyre.
All right, and remember, you can ask questions and we will answer them at the end of episode 2.
Roll it.
He has found the meaning for which we mean to have his head. He must not live to trumpet forth my infamy, nor tell the world Antiochus doth sin in such a loathed manner. And therefore instantly this prince must die, for by his fall my honor must keep high. Who attends us there?
Doth your highness call?
Thalliot, you are of our chamber, and our mind partakes for private actions. To your secrecy and for your faithfulness, we will advance you. Thalliot, behold, here is poison, and here is gold. We hate the Prince of Tyre, and thou must kill him. It fits thee not to ask why, because we bid it. Say, is it done?
My lord, 'tis done.
Enough. Let your breath cool yourself, telling your haste.
My lord, Prince Pericles is fled.
As thou wilt live, fly, and ne'er return unless thou say Prince Pericles is dead.
My lord, if I can get him within my pistol's length, I'll make him sure enough. So, farewell to your highness.
Thalliot, adieu. Till Pericles is dead, my heart can lend no succor to my head.
Why this sudden change of thoughts? The sad companion, dull-eyed melancholy, be my so used to guess as not an hour in the day's glorious walk or peaceful night, the tomb where grief should sleep, can breed me quiet? Here pleasures court mine eyes, and mine eyes shun them. And the danger which I fear is at Antioch, whose aim seems far too short to hit me here. Yet neither pleasure's art can joy my spirits, nor yet the other's distance comfort me.
Joy and all comfort in your sacred breast.
And to keep your mind peaceful and comfortable.
Peace, peace, and give experience tongue. They do abuse the king that flatter him, for flattery is the bellows blows up sin. The thing, the which is flattered but a spark, to which that blast gives heat and further glowing. Whereas reproof, obedient and in order, fits kings, as they are men. For men do err. Pardon, king, or strike me if you please. I cannot be much lower than my knees.
All leave us else. Helicanus, thou hast moved us. Rise, you. Thou art no flatterer. I thank thee for it. And heaven forbid that kings shall let their ears hear their faults be hid. Fit counselor, servant for a prince, what wouldst thou have me do?
Well, my lord, since you've given me leave to speak, freely will I speak. Antiochus you fear, and justly too. I think you fear the tyrant, who by public war or private treason will take away your life. Therefore, my lord, go travel for a while, till that his rage and anger be forgot, or till the destinies do cut his thread of life. Your rule direct to any. If to me, day serves not light, more faithful than I'll be.
I do not doubt thy faith. Tyre, I look from thee then, and to Tarsus intend my travel, where I'll hear from thee, and by whose letters I'll dispose myself. The care I had and have of subjects good, on thee I lay, whose wisdom strength can bear it. I take thy word for faith. She who shuns not to break one will sure crack both. In the time of both, this truth shall ne'er convince. Thou show the subject shine, I, the true prince.
So this is Tyre, and this the court. And here must I kill King Pericles. And if I do not, I am sure to be hanged at home. Well, I perceive he was a wise fellow and of good discretion, that being bid to ask what he would of the king, he desired he know none of his secrets. Now I do see he had good reason for it. For if the king bid a man be a villain, he is bound by the oath of his indenture to be one. Here come the lords of Tyre.
So, Tom, what will happen when the assassin Talliard meets the wise Helicanus and the goodly lords of Tyre?
Well, ML, we'll have to tune in 2 weeks for the further adventures of the Pericles Project.
Or Pericles, Prince of Tyre, depending on what you want to call it. So 2 more weeks, we'll see episodes 3 and 4, and we really hope that you will be here with us. So if you are going to stay with us, we're going to do a quick little Q&A based on what we've heard from around Facebook and YouTube.
Yep. Steve on Facebook says, to paraphrase, this is a great way to present lesser-known Shakespeare. Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. A YouTube viewer asks, why Pericles for the socially distanced production?
Why Pericles has a lot of interesting answers to begin with. I think part of what we were going for is that this is a play that really spoke to audiences in a time of social turmoil and a time of plague where people were distant from one another, they were in isolation. This particular play was something that audiences felt entertaining. So right after a plague, right after their own little mini citydemic, people were not looking for tragedy right away. People were looking to have fun, and this piece felt fun and nostalgic to them. Gower and the whole sort of almost medieval style of the play itself, the storytelling that you see here, was something that people felt nostalgia for. Basically, kind of like us watching Happy Days.
Yeah, and once again, it ended up being really popular. So why not pick the popular plague play for our current COVID time.
Right, and I guess the second reason is that, you can pull a ton of themes out of any of these plays that you want to, but for us, the thing that spoke to the very moment itself is that for Pericles, it's really about who are we when we lose our place, our purpose, our position, what's left when the thing that we think of that defines who we are is taken away from us. How do we keep going? How do we have faith that things will ever be good again? Pericles fights hard for the next several episodes. So it really speaks to where we are right now socially, and I think what we need as audiences and as artists. Anything else?
Sarah on Facebook says, "How will Pericles survive?" Well, Sarah, you got to tune in 2 weeks to find out. Don't want to give that away.
No, not at all. No spoilers, no spoilers.
Madeline from Facebook says, "You guys are doing something really special. You should be proud of it." Thank you, Madeline. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you, Madeline. Are you my Madeline? I hope so. I know we've got some great old friends here, and we've got some of our new friends who were in the cast with us, by the way, people who we really appreciate. And again, just thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. It does...
Yep. And I did think of a third way to interact, and that would be to go to our No Holds Barred website and make a donation.
Oh, I almost forgot.
All donations are tax deductible.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for being here with us tonight, and we hope to see you back in 2 weeks. Please remember to share, to click a like if you liked it, give us a little feedback, and once again, thank you for coming to play
so
with
much.
us.
Thanks so much for being here. Peace and love.